Hello, and welcome to Walk the Talk's tour of Oxford. I trust you will enjoy the tour, but just before we start, I must just ask you to be aware of those around you, and most importantly, take care when crossing any streets. In 1835, Joseph Thornton, who founded Thornton's Bookshop, the oldest university bookshop in the city, moved his Mortland Street bookshop to what was then 51 High Street, Oxford, before moving on to its final site in Broad Street. Today, 51 High Street has become 50 High Street, odd how things happen, and has become Oxford Blue. Oxford Blue was set up 4 years ago, and offer Oxford gifts, including many unique gifts manufactured to the shop's own design. If you drop in and mention Walk the Talk, when you spend over £20, you'll get a free gift. Pop in and have a look. Don't worry, we'll wait. When you're done, press track 2. Right, if you're ready, we'll set off. Start with your back to Oxford Blue and head to your right up the High Street. As you walk, have a look over to your left. Do you see the rather imposing building on the other side of the street? It is the examination schools for Oxford University. Designed and built between 1876 and 1881 by Thomas Jackson as the University Examination Centre, it is today known as the schools, and thousands of students take their exams dressed in traditional academic dress known as subfusc. Next to the examination centre is the Grand Café, which, according to Samuel Pepys' diary in 1650, is the site of the first coffee house in England, and is claimed to have seen such distinguished visitors as Bill Clinton, but I doubt you'll see him in there today. Right. Now if you set off up the High Street towards the University Church of St Mary the Virgin, on the right-hand side of the road, you will pass the back of 3 colleges. The first you will pass on this side of the road is St Edmund's Hall, which started back in the 13th century, making it the only academic hall to survive from the medieval period, although it was actually not granted college status until 1957. After you cross the end of Queen's Lane, you will walk past the rear of Queen's and All Souls Colleges. Queen's College was named in honour of Queen Philippa in 1341, when it was established by Robert de Egglesfield. Queen Philippa was the Queen Consort to Edward III, and Robert de Egglesfield was one of her chaplains. There is, interestingly enough, no evidence of Robert ever having studied for a degree, and although ordained as a priest, never resided in his parish. All Souls College was built and endowed by Henry Churchill, then Archbishop of Canterbury, in the 1430s. Henry Churchill was Archbishop of Canterbury from 1414 to 1443, the year of his death, when he was claimed to be 80 years old, a ripe old age when the average life expectancy in the 1400s was only 48 years. If you look across the road, you may see a plaque. It was erected to celebrate where Robert Boyle, discoverer of Boyle's Law, which, for those of you for whom science at school is but a distant memory, states, for a fixed amount of an ideal gas kept at a fixed temperature, P pressure and V volume are inversely proportional, while one doubles, the other halves. Lived between 1655 and 1658. The plaque also details how the experiments with an air pump, made by his assistant Robert Hooke, led to making a microscope. But you can read all this for yourself if you like. Just take care when crossing the road. Once you are done, cross back and carry on walking up the street until you arrive at University Church of St Mary the Virgin, when you should press track 4. You are standing outside the University Church of St Mary the Virgin. This church has long been involved in the university, as by the early 13th century, it had become the seat of university government, academic disputation, and the awarding of degrees. Although all university business was removed by the middle of the 17th century, St Mary's still has a pivotal place in university life, as it is here the university comes together to worship, The church holds the university's official religious services twice a term. Outside that time are regular services, and it is worth taking a moment to have a look inside and maybe even climb the tower, for which you will be charged. When you are done, come back out to here and press track 5. Now, walk past the church, turn right up St Mary's Passage, past a water pump, and walk into Radcliffe Square. This is the cobbled square housing the Radcliffe Camera. The Radcliffe Camera is the impressive building dominating this square. The entrance, incidentally, is around the other side, and currently houses, believe it or not, reading rooms. The building was initially built as a library, and housed scientific and general books. But as they have since been moved to other parts of the university, it now purely stands as the Bodleian Library's reading rooms. If you walk around the square with the Radcliffe Camera on your right, you will see the entrance to Brasenose College. Founded in around about 1512 by William Smythe, Bishop of Lincoln, and a lawyer named Richard Sutton, who became Sir Richard Sutton when he was knighted after his death. Famous undergraduates include the author of The 39 Steps, John Buchan, and John Fox, writer of the Book of Martyrs. We will be exiting the square up Cat Street. If you follow the square round to the right, past the entrance to the Radcliffe Camera, Cat Street is on your left and has no obvious road sign. But Hertford College is on the right-hand side as you proceed up Cat Street. When you have found this, press track 6. On your left as you enter Cat Street is the Bodleian Library, the main research library of the University of Oxford. The Bodleian is second only to the British Library in size in Britain and one of the oldest libraries in Europe. But don't wander in with your library card hoping to borrow the latest Maeve Binchy or John Grisham. It is primarily a reference library, and, under Irish law, has an entitlement to demand a copy of every book published in the Republic of Ireland. If you want to discover more, the ticket office will help you as to your ticket options, and once you are done, head back up to Cat Street and press track 7. Walk past Hertford College on your right. Famous graduates include Jonathan Swift, author of Gulliver's Travels, and the poet John Donne. And turn right into New College Lane. And look up where you will see the Bridge of Sighs. And no, we haven't just tripped into Venice. This is Hertford Bridge, which is popularly known as the Bridge of Sighs because of its supposed resemblance to the bridge of the same name in Venice. The bridge links two buildings belonging to Hertford College. Just past the bridge on the left is a turning to the Turf Tavern, one of Oxford's most famous pubs, which has been featured in many TV programmes, including Inspector Morse. We are now going to retrace our steps back to Radcliffe Square, noting the Sheldonian Theatre, designed by Sir Christopher Wren, and used for concerts, lectures and university ceremonies, but notably never for drama. That is opposite the entrance to New College Lane. Sometimes you will note students and their families entering or emerging after a degree ceremony. When you get back into Radcliffe Square, press track 8. Lane, towards the Covered Market. As you enter the square, keep right. The lane is between Brasenose College and the Bodleian Library. As you walk up the street, you can imagine the city in yesteryear. The drain running down the middle of the street, the basements and coaching lights. Maybe this is reminiscent of medieval streets resonating with cries of Gardaloo. Or you can imagine frock-coated lamplighters. Just let your imagination flow. As you walk up the lane, on your left is the rear of Lincoln College. John Wesley, John le Carré, and Dr. Seuss all studied here. And on the right, the rear of Exeter College, where J.R.R. Tolkien studied. Cross Tull Street into Market Street. That's the rear of Jesus College, the only Elizabethan college in Oxford, on the right and continue to the entrance to the covered market on your left. Once there, press track 9. The covered market is a lively, bustling marketplace in central Oxford. We are going to enter by this route and exit through the Golden Cross Marketplace. I suggest you follow the directions to find the Golden Cross before retracing your steps and spending a bit of time browsing the stalls. Turn left into the market and take the first right. Cross 2 avenues to a T-junction by a fish stall, where you need to turn left. The entrance to the Golden Cross Arcade is on the right under a clock. Once you have finished looking around the market, go through the Golden Cross Arcade and out through the passageway and turn left and then press track 10. So, I hope you enjoyed that and have found your way out easily. You are now, I hope, on Cornmarket Street. Walk to the end of the street and cross carefully over to St Aldate's. You want to be on the left-hand side of the road. And when you are, and you see the town hall, we'll be on. It's a Grade 2 listed Victorian building. On the far corner, it houses the Museum of Oxford. Entry to the museum is up a staircase at the corner of Blue Boar Street. If you fancy visiting, it offers free entry and houses collections illustrating the history of Oxford. Once you are done, continue down St Aldate's and you'll come across Christ Church College on the left, where we will pick up with track 12. We now approach what I feel is the most imposing college in Oxford. It is in fact the largest college in Oxford, founded in 1524 by Cardinal Wolsey. It is the only college in the world with a cathedral within its walls. Amongst a long list of famous members and students of the college was Lewis Carroll, the author of Alice's Adventures in Wonderland. Christ Church was the setting for Hogwarts in the Harry Potter films. It is possible to visit the college. Opening times are clearly displayed at the Porter's Lodge. Once you have done, press track 13. As you continue down the hill, you can see on your left, through some gates, Christ Church College Memorial Garden, which was laid out in 1926 to commemorate college members who fell in the First World War. It is well worth wandering through into Christ Church Meadow and down to the river. Really pleasant on a summer's afternoon. But just now carefully cross the road and press track 14. 140 years ago, a shy retiring Oxford professor, Reverend Charles Dodgson, wrote under the pen name of Lewis Carroll a story for Alice Liddell, the daughter of the Dean of Christ Church College. He was persuaded to publish the manuscript, and Alice in Wonderland has become one of the most famous stories in children's literature. Alice's shop, which is just next door to Oxford Blue, our finishing point for today's tour, featured in Through the Looking Glass as a wondrous and bizarre grocery shop with a sheep behind the counter. As we have now reached the end of the tour, you should find yourself outside Oxford Blue, the sister shop to where we began. If you have borrowed an MP3 player, you can drop it off here and regain your deposit. And even if you haven't, it is worth dropping in and having a look around. Remember, if you spend over £20, you will get a free gift. Thanks for listening. And by the way, we would welcome any feedback on the tour. Why not check back into walkthetalktour.co.uk and record your thoughts.